I can understand that. I can understand that. But as we wind down today's conversation, I know I did. I don't know if you have any, but I did leave some time because I wanted to just give you a chance. I guess like something that we've been trying to add to the show is giving the guest a chance to kind of throw a couple questions at us and at the hosts, and just to I guess pick our brains a little bit as we end off today's conversation. Two or three questions if you'd like, or if you don't have any questions, that's perfectly fine. We can end it off here. But I always want to try. I'm starting to really enjoy giving this time to our guests. I guess turn the fire hose on us, so to speak.
Turn the fire hose on. Well, I was like foundation savers. Okay, I don't know. First off, okay, what's your definition of self-defense?
My definition of self-defense is essentially something that allows you to stay, first off, aware of your surroundings, something that allows you to not only be aware of your surroundings, but be able to control how you react to your surroundings. Because I guess in my experience, I guess the one thing that has definitely been able to, I guess, really stick with me is just understanding that how aware you are of your surroundings dictates how ready you would be to be able to utilize something, like knowing how many exits are in the room if you need to run, knowing maybe I shouldn't go down this area, or maybe which way you should be able to run. So it's like, for me, self-defense is not just like, putting your hands up and being able to throw, jab, cross, hook. It's really being able to use that awareness and understanding, okay, is this a situation that I should be trying to use my hands, feet, so on and so forth? Or is this a situation where I'm just going to need to run? Or where am I going? And does this sound like a safe area that I should be? Like, it should start before you even get into the situation, not necessarily when you're already there and the guys are, cracking their knuckles and stuff and getting ready, or grabbing a bottle or whatever it is to hit you with. It's like art that teaches you to be aware of and control your surroundings to a degree. I mean, there's only so much we can control.
Well, first thing, it's pretty hard to control the environment. You have to control yourself with the environment. So what you're talking about. Okay, so what are the three key elements of a criminal assault?
Oh, that I cannot say that I can answer. I don't have a law enforcement background. My father does. I do not, unfortunately.
Get on the phone right now.
I would love to call my dad, like, hey Dad, so I'm in the middle of an interview right now. Would you be able to I mean, let's see. The three key elements to a criminal assault, I wouldn't know.
Okay, there's a lead up phase,
Mm-hmm.
holding mechanism, and the aftermath. So where do you stop the assault? What phase?
The lead up, I would assume, like the idea is to make sure that you're maintaining control of the situation, like keeping the assailant calm, making sure that you're staying aware of keeping them in your purview, so they're not reaching off to grab something or reaching to maybe grab a knife or something like that. I would assume that would be the best place to start.
Well, I would start with just your presence. How do you look? How do you feel when you walk in the room? That presence has a lot to do with it, because usually when people are victimized in the lead-up phase, how long has it taken to pick you out of the crowd to victimize you?
Oh, I would say instantaneous, if they can tell by your body language. And
how long?
Seconds.
Now you're guessing. Now you go fishing with hand grenades, don't you?
I can't say exactly. I would know exactly how long.
On average, 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Interesting.
So that's to you be victimized, to be punched out, a woman to be sexually assaulted, and children on bullying ground. 10 seconds. How long does the average combative action last?
Oh, in minutes? 2.
Close. There's that hand grenade going again.
I mean, as far as I've had, let's see, as far as formal training in like street self-defense, I've had brief stints here and there. Usually they say 1 to 2 minutes is what I was always told, that how long a fight generally lasts.
Okay, on average, we know it lasts 3 minutes. That was for civilians, police arrests, and for two soldiers to meet in the middle of a combat. Now, how much energy is expended in that 3 minutes? Physical energy, and how quickly?
I don't know.
Okay, in the first 15 seconds, you're going to expend as much energy as running 2 marathons back to back at a 6-minute mile.
Wow.
Okay, why?
I guess thinking about it, I would say potentially adrenaline. How fast you're probably moving to control the situation, and probably you're wrestling with somebody who's really trying to force themselves onto you. So you're expending a lot of energy trying to maintain, like, to gather and maintain control over that person, right?
How about something very simple? Fear. Fear makes you burn it, because you have in the real world, there's a serious reality of serious grievous bodily harm and or death. So that affects how you train. It affects how much energy you expend once you realize, holy shit. And what creates that response?
Fear. Yeah.
What creates that fear response?
Fight or flight.
Very good. See? And the whole bit. So again, and the problem is in the lead up phase, the fight or flight doesn't kick in until the holding mechanism, until the guy or the perpetrator gets in your face. So, question for you. Why, when you punch the perpetrator, with your deadly one punch, one kill punch, why doesn't he feel it?
Oh, because the adrenaline is going. He's probably not going to feel anything for a bit during the beginning, or maybe until after the situation's going. The adrenaline pumping keeps him from having to feel that.
And what creates that?
The fight or flight response.
Okay, but what are the chemicals that create that?
Oh,
come on.
I got the. I know it's the chemical. It's not oxytocin.
One is adrenaline. What's the other one?
Adrenaline and my brain keeps trying to pull oxytocin, but I know that's not it.
No. Starts with a C. It's a painkiller.
I'm drawing a blank.
Cortisone.
Cortisone. Oh,
that's like your massive painkiller. So that's why now here's another question for you. How much, in a street fight, what percentage are blows to the head on the attack? What percentage?
Oh. From what I would understand, I'd say percentage, 90 to 95.
Close, 80%. So when you start throwing punches, or the bad guys are going, 80% is directed to your head. Why?
Because that's where the brain is, and hitting the certain pressure points, like the temple and like the knockout points on the side of the jaw, the nose, vital areas that make you cry. Maybe trying to aim towards like the side of the head where like the jugular, or at least around the neck where the jugular vein and stuff comes up, causes knockout.
Now you're thinking like a fighter, but that's not why.
Okay.
Because where do you talk from?
Your mouth.
And what do your eyes do?
My eyes see, like they watch the situation.
So the guy unloads on your mouth, he unloads on your eyes so you can't see, and he creates tunnel vision.
Okay.
It drives to your head. So that's 80%. That's why you don't see very many knockouts on the street, because you move your head away from point of contact, right?
Right.
You're still fixated for 10 seconds and delivering 80% of your punishment. So good stuff like that. So now that is we call basic self-defense 101. You're teaching, you should know this.
Oh, well, no, I personally have not taught. That would be Manny.
Okay, well, Manny you can talk to Manny afterwards. Say, Manny, how come you didn't answer those questions? Right?
Well, my hope is to be honest, my hope is that I do want to get into actually teaching self-defense. So this is actually something that allows me to really understand where me and my own personal understanding and my personal growth and study is. Where I'm at, and I can be able to look this up.
I'll give you one last question for you. Okay. And then you can ask Manny. You can phone him up too in Japan, right? Wake him up. Say, get up, you lazy sout. I'm getting Okay. What is your definition of mind-body connection? How do you accomplish it?
Mind-body connection. Mind-body connection is essentially, I guess, let's see, my definition would be training a specific set of movements so that your body recognizes it from the pattern and doing it over and over again, and then your brain recognizes it after you've done it so many times, you can do it without having to think, or it's a more, I guess, reflex would be. I feel like I'm floundering here, but
No, you're doing what just about everybody does.
Oh.
Basically, the mind-body, what we talk about is how to keep the mind and body functioning. So you have to keep basically the jockey on the horse, because when the adrenaline dump occurs, it creates a hijacking. And that's where tunnel vision comes from and all those other things we talk about. So the mind-body is an important piece of kit, and we spend a lot of time trying to accomplish that. Martial arts guys tend to use the philosophical side of Japanese or Korean or whatever, Chinese nonsense, instead of understanding what the actual ingrained physical, psychological reactions that occur within that body that occur. So it creates an adrenaline dump, which creates a very defined pattern of psychological and physiological changes which occur in the body. I won't ask you what those are, but you can look it up. And it's important. It's important to know. So the big question is, what do you have to train to keep the mind body in action under high levels of stress, which would be a street salter? What do you have to train?
I would think stress testing, like constant stress testing of
Now you're a martial arts guy, right?
Yes, sir.
And you believe in martial arts?
Yes, sir.
Now, what's one of the most important things they try to teach you in martial arts?
Controlling your mind, breathing, making sure that using the breathing to stay relaxed, making sure to read. Well, I mean, depending upon what you're talking about.
Do you want to call Manny right now?
No. I'm gonna take this butt whooping. I'm gonna take this butt whooping solo. It's okay. This is pushing me to really pull into just my understanding a bit more.
Okay, so what we have a thing in the military we used to call the indomitable fighting spirit. Do you ever talk about fighting spirit in your training?
Of course.
Now that's that thing. You got your heart about here, and just around that area, there's a little bit of stuff where you try to build that indomitable fighting spirit, because the brain's a lazy piece of kit, but it's the spirit that keeps you in the fight when everything else goes. That's non-emotional contacts. You know, like you watched all those footage of the cops failing their job. That's emotional content. That's mind body falling apart, because their indomitable fighting spirit was never created within them to keep them rational under high stress loads. So how do you train? Last question for you. How do you train your indomitable spirit?
I would say pushing past the part of your brain that tells you that something is too difficult, or some training is too hard, and being able to learn to train, I guess, smarter and not harder, like make it more streamlined towards a specific type of training, and then building that memory.
You gonna stick with that answer?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna stick with that answer with as much fear in my heart as I can.
Okay. First off, okay, in my mind, this is me now, is when you come into that training environment, you have to. You look in the mirror. This is who you see. Who is that person really? That person is not that functional piece of kit. You didn't come out of mom knowing how to fight, nor did you come out of mom with any baggage that you've picked up since the day you were born. So the first thing we have to do is strip yourself, your spirit, your mindset down to its common core. Because what we're doing now in martial arts training, and what you're experiencing, is here's your core. You haven't adjusted it. You haven't stripped it. So you're relaying what you're supposed to be, new habits on top of bad habits. Now, you've seen this with the police officers in your country that got into trouble. That core was never adjusted. It was never stripped. You never got them down to that point where you could actually lay skills on a solid foundation that's not created weakness, that creates that emotional content that failed them all. Now they're sitting in prison crying in their soup and stuff like that. That's what the indomitable fighting spirit's about. That's why in the old days in the military, when you went in, like you asked me, you were stripped. You know, you arrived at recruit school, you got rid of all your civilian shit, and you were stripped, and you were brought down to a common denominator, which is you. Today, we don't do that. So we wonder, especially in police training, we don't do it. We make a college atmosphere. So you wonder why, and including martial arts guys, why when you relayer stuff on top of that, your warrior is not a true warrior anymore, because you never made it to the core self. And that's sweat equity, it's discipline, it's having an instructor who will take you to that point. And then, not only that, relayer and rebuild you, not in his image, not in the system's image, but in your image, the image of the person that you are, because we're all individuals. And that individual has to have rational content, and you have to understand yourself first. If you don't understand self, all this stuff is nonsense. And that's, in my estimation, what martial arts are supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, there, I won't ask any more questions.
No, it's perfectly fine, sir. Thank you very much. And this is the reason why I started adding this in, is because just that chance to really, I guess, connect a little bit further with the guests and just really honestly teach myself something, and teach myself something that I can take from these conversations and add to my training. And that's the one thing that we want all of our guests, or not our guests, our viewers to be able to do as well. So yeah. I do want to thank you very much for the time that you were able to spend here with us, and just, grilling me as hard as I was. Like, in those, 3 to 4 questions that you asked alone, those were weightier than any of the 10 questions that I've asked the entirety of this time. And
well, shit goes around.
Yes, sir.
It does. But no, what you and Manny are doing, and that's like all the lads who get a hold of me for these little, like we call them podcasts, you young fellas do, is that we call them? Is you got to, keep it going, because at some point in time, we're all going to wake up in our little martial arts community, and we have to step outside our box and say, hey. And, for me, reality check after reality check gets you to make sure you don't go back into the box and retreat.
Right.
So, and how it's going to get out there is guys like yourself and Manny and all that, is you ask the questions, and, a lot of people are going to give you, maybe my answers are a little weird, or, whatever. But keep asking the questions, keep searching, because the original concept of martial arts was all about what we just talked about, that stripping of spirit, finding it. And like I said, a punch is a punch, a kick is a kick, a joint lock is a joint lock. It's just how you, under that level of stress and in that environment, how you function at being able to perform those techniques. And it doesn't have to be many techniques, but the violence is the gift that we'll always keep giving. And sadly, we're not addressing it in a term, because if we were, the society wouldn't be getting crazy. Like I said, I'm not going to Disneyland with all my kids having body armor, because you Yankees are going nuts. And, we're getting stupid up here too. Canada, all you Americans, because Canadians always, we're the nice, friendly people. We're doing a pretty good number on killing people and stuff as well, because somewhere along the line, we're not doing our job as humans. But as martial arts people, we can do a much better job in preparing our students and the people who come in to our schools to be better people. And I think that's where we should be going with it. Just, fighting is the byproduct of what we do if we do it right. And being better people, being more aware people, and be kinder people would be what I would strive for. Because, I'm a guy who's seen an incredible amount of violence in my life. And, that's not what I want to pass on to my children. It's, and I'm sure you don't want to pass it on to yours, because tomorrow's Mother's Day. We have to be happy.
Yes.
But anyway, that's about all I can do. I think I have to go find a beer, because my mouth is getting pretty dry.
No worries. I want to thank you, Bill, for coming and sharing with us. And everybody, if you want to be able to just, see more of this content, don't forget to like and subscribe to Into the Dojo on YouTube. Bill, it's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you very much, sir. And have a great day.
My best to your partner in Japan.
I will. Oh, Manny's going to see this. Don't worry.
Okay.
He's probably going to laugh.
All right. All good. Anyway, we'll talk again sometime, and be safe in the meantime, man. And good night, everybody.
Same to you.